obviously we've mentioned managers. I'm not going to say the man you want to talk about first. I'm going to lead on to that.
I was about to say that's a point later.
Yeah, we'll leave that for later. But obviously there's been lots of talk. We're not getting Slot. We're not getting, potentially not getting Nagelsmann. Mm-hmm. Who for you is the man to come in and fix all of this mess, do you think?
A crazy man that does not exist on planet Earth, sadly. I definitely, the one name that I will rule out that I'm not a fan of, and I'm seeing a lot of people say they want, is POSTECOGLOU. For me, Nuno Espirito Santo could manage that Celtic team and win the league. Anyone could go over there and win the league with Celtic. And for me, I'm not a fan. He seems like he's quite a character. He's quite firm. And unless we have a massive clear out of the squad, which granted, I think we need, just like Mourinho, just like Conte, I've got a feeling that if he does come in, he might rub a few of the players up the wrong way. And if the board and Levy and whoever aren't going to get rid of these players, then that's not the sort of character that you probably want in the team to make a change. If we don't offload 90% of our squad. I think for me, it's got to be a rebuild manager. I said this on your podcast before. I think there's a lot of fans in our fan base who are calling for a rebuild manager, but I question their patience for a rebuild manager. We're talking 2-3 years of 7th, 8th consistently, maybe the odd Europa League run. As a fan base looking at, we were calling for Conte's head whilst we were 4th. Are we going to be going, oh, well, we're only 11th, we're 3 points off 8th, but, we're here for the project. So I like, let's go to Old Faithful. Let's get ex-Chelsea manager Graham Potter in. He's got a chip on his shoulder. Played nice football under Brighton. Everyone seems to have forgotten that just because of how awful he was at Chelsea. And yeah, imagine that. Poch versus Potter, eh? Jesus Christ.
I think Potter's at the top of Palace's list.
Yeah, I've just seen that actually. Yeah. I just think, the question is, and obviously we'll get onto it in full later, with the Kane situation, I'm really intrigued, and obviously we'll never know whether Kane was part of the conversation as to why Pochettino didn't get the phone call. Because if Kane's gone, I don't want him back. Is that why? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because the reason, obviously, with Poch, for me, is why I didn't want him back is because we've done it, we've been there. But if Kane thought the same, then I'm up for anyone else to come in and do it. Because at this point, it can't get any worse. And I'm happy to just go, right, until we find the right guy, we find the right guy. But it's going to be awful for a little bit. But it's got to happen. It's got to happen. And whoever comes in has got a hell of a job on their hands.
100%. I think we all echo that. I mean, Costa, for you, obviously Jay's mentioned the Celtic man, who I'm not going to butcher his name. And I think I'm on this. Yeah, that's the one. I think I'm kind of on the same wavelength, because with Pochettino, in his book of what he's done, he was at Southampton, he was at Espanyol before. With his Celtic man, he's been in Japan, Australia, and now he's at Celtic. I don't know if he's quite the caliber to come in to Spurs, and I suppose we can't be choosers right at this moment in time.
Oh, right. Who do I think? I don't know, Hollie. I don't know anymore. I'm drained with it all, because as I said, you get a project manager coming in and you finish your 7th, your 8th, might get a Europa Conference spot, might even be absolutely lucky and get a Champions League spot. I'm just throwing it out there. Then everyone's all happy and everything. But if there's a rebuild manager and you're not rebuilding, what is the point? This is why my theory of not having European football next season, unfortunately, it might hurt a lot of people, but I'm so happy, because we wouldn't have taken it seriously. We would have just gone out with it, bottling a game that we need to win, like we always do in Europe. We've never gone to Europe and proper made a statement. All right, the Ajax game you could say, but still then we never went out and smashed Ajax. It was, we had to, do you know what I mean? Anyway, I'm diverting, but I think the manager-wise, you look at people like Martin Yao, we stumbled across him, really. Potts to an extent, you know, it was really this geezer. So if it is Big Ange, you'd have to just get behind him. I know it's hard to take, but it's annoying because is he my first choice? No. Would he be my third choice? No. But the person who comes in now will not be first choice. So you're going back to Nuno 2.0, and then by November we lose to Luton Town away on a cold Wednesday night, and then the fans are on that person's back. It's never ever going to be smooth with Tottenham. It will never, until things change.
And I think that's the root, the underlying thing of everything is until something changes. Because Crackers, we never see anything change. But with you, with Jay and Costa, who are you kind of under the impression that yes, we're not going to get our first choice anymore? Because I think everybody was after Nagelsmann, and to be fair to him, the fact he doesn't want to come because there's not a director of football in place kind of says it all about Spurs at the minute.
But he's offered the director of football. He's offered who he wants to work with,
and he doesn't want it.
And leave him co don't want to. So
yeah. I think ultimately, Hollie, whoever comes in is doomed to fail with the way the club's run now. I just can't see past it. You know, even if somebody comes in and absolutely tears it up, they can only tear it up as far as ENIC will allow them. It's as simple as that. It's, you know, so look, but in the meantime, until we find another lunatic with 5 billion quid down the back of the sofa, it looks like we're stuck with them. Or if they do something and move the chairman aside, and you know, and the way the football side of the club is run is improved. Listening, I think Paul Hawksby on TalkSport absolutely nailed it the other day, and he said a lot of this is optics at the moment because you got Brendan Rodgers that was one Stevie Gerrard slip away from winning the league with Liverpool. And if he'd have walked out of Liverpool at the end of that season and come to Spurs, we would have been absolutely delighted. Went to Leicester, wins the FA Cup as well. Probably got let down a little bit by his ball. Well, quite a lot, actually, and out the door. So, I mean, I don't really like Brendan Rodgers as a person much, but, you know, I've not got to hold his hand and take windy walks with him, have I? So, you know, so there's somebody that has got it in his locker to be a Spurs manager. Ditto Graham Potter. You know, when he was at Brighton, you looked at him, and if he'd come to Spurs, you'd go, "Whoa, yeah, okay, yeah, I like his football." He went to Chelsea, never worked, and I don't think it helped that De Zerbi went to Brighton and it did work. But he's another manager that could probably get you playing some football that you can get behind and watch. Postecoglou, a lot of people in football that I've spoken to said he's a decent manager, but you know, it's a tough one. Most of this is optics. We just need somebody really that the players buy into, that they like working under, somebody that plays a bit of front foot football. That we can sort of get behind, and then we're just going to have to be patient because whoever comes in, there's just so much work to do. This is now, whoever comes in, a 3, 4, possibly 5-year job to get out what, you know, the players that they don't want and get in the ones we do. You can't just get rid of 9, bring in 9. Football doesn't work like that, you know, and even that's not that. The mechanics of that is not ENIC's fault. It's their fault that we're in that position, but we've got that sort of amount of players to get out and get in. But even if they turn around tomorrow and have a real epiphany and then go, right, okay, we are really going to throw everything at this, you can't just get rid of 8, 9 players and replace them. So whoever comes in, I want them to talk about us and we and be us, and you know, and start this rebuild. And we'll just have to suck it up, Buttercup, and just you know, put up with a rebuild. So I don't know. I really don't know at the moment, and I'm a bit like Ant. I'm a bit like, oh, whatever. Just someone, just get somebody in and like, you know, let's get going again.
Quickly, I just want to echo what Crackers is saying. I'm going to put it to you people. I forgot what I was saying now.
That's old age for you, Ange.
Oh, mate, what am I thinking of? What was I going to say? Oh,
how frazzled our brains are. Go on.
Sorry. The manager, whoever they were looking at, he should have been hired 2 weeks ago, right? To give the club hopefully a bit of a lift, a bit of a buzz. He can come in, see who he wants, see who he doesn't want, see what we need, what we don't need. X, Y, and Z. You've got 8, 9, 10 players coming back off loan in a couple of weeks. So are they going to get another chance? By the time they've been given another chance, we might be 11th, 12th, lose to Gillingham in the League Cup. No disrespect to Gillingham. Lose to Forest Green again in the FA Cup 4th round. Got, you know, no disrespect to Forest Green, but this is what I'm saying. So by that time, we're playing catch up, and then we've got to wait for the January transfer window to come in. We go, oh, we've got to try and get rid of him, this person to come in. We're just playing catch up now. And it's ever since this club went 500 odd days, etc., without signing a player.